Hi, this is Ted. I'm sitting on the front porch of my mobile home on a sunny Thursday afternoon. If you're wondering, you're watching my videos and you hear this weird-ass background noise, I apologize for that. What that is traffic noise. See, I'm sitting on the front porch, and the highway is like a mile away, but the sound like comes up the power line and right down. So sorry, it would be a real bitch to take that out of that audio, so I'm not going to do it. Too lazy. The word of the day today is forgiveness. Forgiveness. Do you know what forgiveness is? Some people I don't think know what that word means. They don't understand it. And at the top of the list is a guy who's supposed to be smarter than that, named James McNulty, Ph.D., of the University, the Florida State University. Ran across this article on ABC News Radio website, something or other. I'll paste a link on there. Go back and find it, which I found through some other website, which I forgot. But I looked up the study that they were talking about on Psych Central, where they said that forgiveness might not always be a good idea. And I'm thinking, that's insane. So I looked it up, and here's what the guy says. He says, research shows that a variety of factors can complicate the effectiveness of forgiveness. Okay? He says, including a partner's level of agreeableness and the severity and frequency of the transgression. Now, here's a quote from McNulty. He said, believing a partner is forgiving leads agreeable people to be less likely to offend that partner. But it also leads disagreeable people to be more likely to offend that partner. Moreover, the author of this article on Psych Central says, McNulty believes anger can serve an important role in signaling to a transgressing partner that the offensive behavior is not acceptable. If the partner can do something to resolve a problem that is likely to otherwise continue and negatively affect the relationship, people may experience long-term benefits by temporarily withholding forgiveness and expressing anger. So disagree. Absolutely, totally, and completely disagree. I have a PhD in bullshit, and I'm a front porch sitter in front of a mobile home, and Mr. McNulty can laugh at me all he wants to, and so can you. But I got news for you people. I have lived on this planet for 55 years. And I got a little bit of smarts, pay attention to stuff. Also pay attention to the fact that I have been married for almost 35 years to a wonderful woman whom I love more than life itself and who loves me back. And there is nothing more important in a relationship than forgiveness. So you need to understand what forgiveness is. Back when I was a religious person, we used to preach about forgiveness all the time. We used to talk about how important it was to forgive because God forgave you. You should forgive other people, and it never made a lot of sense to me because it sure didn't seem like God forgave me very much. Things really fucked up over and over, and I'm thinking, if this is forgiveness, shit, I'd hate to know if he's pissed off at me, right? People don't understand what forgiveness is. I used to have a saying, I still have a saying. I have a saying. I used to say this and still say it. All right? Forgiveness. Forgiveness is the fragrance of the flower on the heel of the shoe that crushed it. What the fuck does that mean? It's a beautiful thought, except it might not make any sense. Forgiveness is the ability to look past what somebody does and see who they are. Forgiveness is the ability to recognize somebody for who they are and accept who they are. Now, what this guy's talking about, Rick Nauert, Ph.D., he's talking about forgiving and forgetting and let things keep going the way they are. And I don't advocate that. Nobody should stay in an abusive relationship. Nobody. If your friend or your spouse or your mother or your father or your brother, if you can get out of that relationship, if you're an adult, if you're a young kid, report it. Tell somebody. Tell somebody. But as an adult, if you're in a relationship and that relationship is abusive, don't stay in it. Forgiveness does not mean being a dog and accepting a beating every day. Forgiveness means looking past that person and loving them in spite of what they've done sometimes. Now, what this guy's talking about is when people get in arguments all the time in relationships, and it's often gender specific. You know what I mean? They genderize this thing. The guy doesn't pay any attention to his wife, and he's abusive to her, and she keeps forgiving, and it happens both ways. And that's not what I'm talking about. Forgiveness is not taking shit over and over. Forgiveness is loving in spite of somebody. Forgiveness is saying, I am going to love you. I may not be able to live with you, but I love you. Forgiveness is turning loose of anger and hatred and cruelty and meanness in your own heart, because you cannot have a relationship if you do not maintain forgiveness, because forgiveness and love work together and they cannot be separated. They can't. You can't do it. Obviously, in 35 years, my beloved wife has done a couple things that hurt my feelings, and I've done the same thing. We've had our ups and downs. We've had our hard times. And we get on each other's nerves sometimes. You know, she has her habits, and I have mine. But there's this word that goes with this other word. This word called forgiveness goes with this other word called love. And they work together to maintain a relationship. If you hold anger and resentment, then you're never going to have a relationship. You can kiss it goodbye. I don't care how sweet or how mean anybody is, you can't do it. So don't listen to Mr. Dipshit here, James McNulty. Listen to the PhD in bullshit, okay? Because I've been around and I understand this stuff, and you can choose to fuck your life up, or you can choose to listen to me, the wise old dude on the front porch. You don't need a lot of money to have a brain. Alright? You love somebody, you forgive them. That does not mean you be a dog. If they're abusive to you, if they hit you, if they're verbally abusive, then you need to get out of that relationship. That's where you draw the line. When you walk away, when you say, I can't be here anymore because I can't accept the way that you're treating me. That's the line. You don't just stay there and say, I forgive you, and let them beat shit out of you every time. And you don't stay there and turn around and fight back either. Because that don't accomplish anything. That just builds to a peak. And that's how these shootings occur at homes, you know. Where you hear this wife or this husband blow the fuck out of her old man or his old lady. Because they've been building this shit for years. Because they haven't let it go. You gotta let it go. You gotta forgive and let love take hold. You gotta love in spite. You know, I've been thinking about that lately. I don't know why. But you gotta love people in spite of what they do sometimes. You know, I have children that I love, and sometimes they're a real pain in the butt. And I've seen parents get so mean and ugly and nasty to their kids because their kids are mean and ugly and nasty to them, and they get into these goddamn fights. And it's horrible. And it doesn't accomplish anything. I love my kids in spite of who they are sometimes, in spite of what they do sometimes, and they know that. And when they come out the other side, they can come to Daddy. And they can say, I was an idiot, and I'm sorry. And Daddy can say, yeah, you was an idiot. Don't do it again. And I forgive you. And then there's our relationship. Same thing with your spouse, your best friend. Don't let this bullshit idiot McNulty, don't let him fill you full of this idiotic bullshit. This is the kind of shit we see on TV all the time. Don't forgive somebody. Get back at them. Get angry with them. That's horrible. It's shameful. It's disgusting. I hope you listen to me. If you want relationships that will work, you got to learn to forgive. You really do. As many times as I've been hurt and shit on, really, I mean really, I could tell you stories because I'm not, real good at some things, and people see what I do the wrong way, whatever, I don't know. I never figured it out. But I forgive. I forgive. And I want a relationship to work. And if a guy that's been a bully to me for 15 years realizes that he's been wrong and comes to me and apologizes, I'm not going to pick up 2-4 and hit him upside the head. I'm going to say, hey man, that's cool. I appreciate it. I'm going to shake his hand. I'm going to look him in the eye. I'm going to say, I forgive you, man. I do. Now that, my friend, if you're a Christian, is what you're supposed to do as a Christian. I'm not. That's what you should do as a human being. Forgiveness is the fragrance of the flower on the heel of the shoe that crushed it. Listen to old Ted here. He knows what he's talking about. I do. Have a nice day.